Good morning, ladies and gents. I just thought I should pop in something for you for the day, or maybe for the weekend rather, so you've got something to think about. We didn't have a show this week, so there's very little content on the page, so I thought I should just probably take some time and have a chat with you guys this morning, or rather this afternoon. I've had quite a hectic week, so I've not had time to do anything in terms of putting something out there. So I decided I might as well just put it on the platform while I'm driving, while I'm on the road. So yeah, let me just give you something. So today I wanted to have a chat with you guys about bloodlines, about family ties, family connection, family lineages, however way you want to call it, bloodlines, blood connection. There's several terms you could use to describe this, but I think it's important that we have a chat about it because it means different things to different people. Some people only see it as, say, something that just has to do with your family. Their bloodline is basically just an identification that says which family do I come from. It's just a connection that says who is my mother, who's my father. To some people, it's just the genetic connection. It's just something that just, that's there to connect you genetically. And for some people, it's more than that. Some people see it as a spiritual thing, to say, the connection you have with your family is more than just natural. It's more than just genetic or biological or medical, but it's actually much more than that. And I strongly believe that understanding, however way you want to look at it, the bottom line is that there is a connection, and that connection needs to be understood. Why am I saying it's important to understand that connection? A lot of people tend to misinterpret conversations around these type of connections because they think you are talking about rituals or you are talking about other things. But I want to talk about it purely from the perspective of continuity, reproduction, just the pure pillar of life, which is one of the pillars I've been discussing in the first few sessions of our show. I was talking about the pillar of reproduction, and I was explaining why is it important for humans to reproduce. And I said they reproduce for three main reasons. One of the first reasons why humans have to reproduce is for continuity of the human species. If we do not reproduce, there can't be continuity of the species. Lack of reproduction will generally mean that the family, or rather the human race, goes extinct. In any family, when there is no reproduction of male children, that will probably carry the family surname, because the assumption is generally that when you are a female, you will change your surname to the surname of the male you are getting married to. So you would find even in the past, kings used to push to have as many sons as possible, because what they wanted to do was just to make sure that their lineage stands a chance of surviving. That's the navigator there talking to me. So that in itself tells you a lot about where you are going as a person, or rather, let's say where you come from as a person. And then also importantly, it's not just the issue of continuity, because yes, continuity is there and it's critical, but there's also information, the passing on of information, the generational passing on of information. And this is important because that general passing on of information simply says that we cannot continue to improve as the human race. We cannot continue to do better as the human race if there's no continuity in terms of information being handed over from one generation to the other. And I'll use a very simple example. You will find that many a times, even in the academic world, the academics that are alive today, that are doing work and breaking ground in terms of research, most of their research is based on what has happened, what has been written in the past. There has to be some point of reference for them to build on. So that reference tells you that some people came, accumulated information, they left that information in a piece of document, or they left it in a series of documents which are maybe published or not, but it's information. Therefore, the researchers will then use that as a base to then develop other theories and other hypotheses or other, groundbreaking research proposals moving forward, and new information will evolve. You look at how technology has improved from where it was 20 years ago to now. There's been great improvement, but that is notwithstanding the fact that there has been people that did technological discoveries, even though those technological discoveries might have not gotten us where we are today, but they contributed something that was significant to us getting where we are. And this becomes very important because I believe that the passing on of knowledge is in two levels. There's a passing on of knowledge that I would also call genetic, where certain habits, personality traits, and things that our fathers and our grandfathers had in them are passed on to us, and you would generally just involuntarily just subscribe to a particular way of doing things simply because that's what is embedded in your genetic model. But there is a second level to that as well. Second level to that is when you acquire the information, where you go out of your way to say, I want to learn from what has been done, what has actually been done in the past, and how is that helping us moving forward from where we are. And that is, I think, one aspect that is now lacking in our society, where the younger generation does not seem to value information that comes from the previous generations. And we believe we are independent because we are in the information age. We believe we can access information everywhere, yet we are forgetting that there's critical information, especially information that has to do with self. Now, let me give you just a few examples before I close, just so that I can validate what I'm trying to say about bloodlines. For an example, you will find that certain families have a history of farming, and they've been very good in farming. And you would find that many a times, even the generations to come picked up on that skill, and they did very well in farming. And it seems to be a grace in the family, or an ability in the family that is just there. They just naturally have a knack for farming. They're just born like that. They don't have to necessarily go to any institution to go learn, but it's part of them. It's hereditary. It's something that has been in their bloodline for years and years, or sometimes even decades and centuries. You never know. So if a person then comes after a while when that maybe has ceased in the family, and you do not take the opportunity to actually just go back and discover what is it that your family was good at, what is it that your family has as dominating attributes. And you can look at it both from the positive and the negative, to say there are things in your family that you would look at and realize that they are negative, but it's good to know what they are, because if you know what those negative things are in your family, guess what? You are able to put yourself in a space where you can put controls in place. You can adjust and structure your life such that it avoids you falling under the same trap. And you will find that some of those negative things might have ruined certain members of the family. They misunderstood what was happening. They allowed this thing to continue, and it affected their lives, even impacted their futures. Some of them might have not amounted to anything because they negated or neglected the fact that they actually have certain things embedded in their system that are very dangerous or negative habits that might potentially hamper their ability to do well in life. But now, if a person takes the time to go back and find out and be able to know and see those trends in the family, to say those negative trends are good for me to know them, so that I can build around them, so that I make sure I build enough around them to make sure they don't impact my decisions, they don't impact my future, they don't impact where I'm going in life. Instead of accepting, we have a tendency of accepting many a times, to say my family is like this, I've accepted, and that's okay. Yes, it's fine. It might be like that. You might have accepted and it's like that, but you can still put controls in place that can make you successful in spite of those negative traits. Think about how many people you know that were gifted and extremely talented in sports, in industry, in different aspects of life, that were gifted. But you will find that there were certain personality traits that they have. There were certain habits that they have that were actually very damaging to their careers, that were damaging to their lives, and it ended up messing them up because they failed to understand that this is in my family. Whether I go to rehab for something or not, I need to understand that rehabilitation and abstinence is not good enough for people like me. For an example, if my family struggles with alcohol, and alcohol has ruined my family for a very long time, because when my bloodline drinks alcohol, we are not ordinary drinkers. We go the extreme route. We become so extreme that we start overdoing it. We overindulge, because maybe my family is the type of family that has an addictive personality. Whenever we love something, we become addicted to it and we overdo it. And if you do not understand that about your bloodline, you are going to ignore those type of things, and they will end up affecting you, because you will think it's things that require you to seek medical help. It's things that will require, yes, you might need to seek medical help for you to get some level of recovery. But let me tell you something, it becomes more critical, it becomes more beneficial for you when you understand what these things are, so that you are able to do, you are able to put controls in place and grow yourself in that area, such that you are able to manage those challenges and do better. Now, in an event where those are positive traits, let's say in an event where those are positive traits, if they are positive traits, it's also good, because you will find that many a times we pursue certain things in life and we struggle to make it through. We struggle to do good, because certain things are not really in our blood, and it will require us years and years of training and development, years and years of investment in ourselves, for us to be able to actually get that sorted out, for us to be able to be in a space where we are able to do better in that space. We will have to actually develop ourselves very well. But there are certain skills, talents, and abilities that are inherent in your system, that are like a walk in the park for you to do those things, simply because they are in your blood. They are part of your bloodline. That's who you are. And it would be so much easier for you if you knew what those things are. Yes, it might not necessarily be an area or a line of career that you want to pursue in life, but you must also understand that it's those areas of your life that that are hereditary. So those aspects of who you are as a person, those positive aspects of your bloodline, those positive aspects of your family. Because truth be told, God is a very intelligent being. He is so intelligent that he made sure that in as much as there are negative things about you, but there are also just as equally positive things about you, where you just need to have a very good understanding of self, have a very good understanding of where you come from, have a very good understanding of who you really are, so that you are able to build yourself moving forward. And this becomes very important, because you are able to then put yourself in a platform where you can do so much better for yourself, because you have taken the time to understand your bloodline. There are so many things today that are confusing people, so many things that people are trying to figure out, and the answers are just sitting with them, just taking the time to go back and trying to rediscover, who am I? What is in my family? What good can I take from my family? What bad do I pick up that I need to build around, so that I make sure that I do not get frustrated? Those type of things are very critical. You will find that sometimes you just naturally have inherent laziness that you don't even understand. You try so hard to work hard, but somehow you just, for some reason, you just end up getting lazy more than half the time, and you never get anything done. And sometimes you might sit back and look, and you'll realize that this is something that has always been in your family, that you guys struggle with laziness. So what that means is that you will need to put controls in place, ways in which you can discipline yourself in making sure that you do work and you finish work that you've started. And that creates a very, very strong platform for you to be able to do so much more with yourself. Learn more about who you are. I've been talking about self-introspection for a while now. And I believe that in as much as you can self-introspect, but you also need to take the time to look back and understand your bloodline and know what is it that is in your bloodline that you can learn from for you to do better and avoid. What is it that is in your bloodline that you can build upon for you to be more excellent in what you are doing. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely one. Thank you.